Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of Meet the Press with His Excellency President Samuel Ikome Sako. I would like to start by first of all apologizing for the late start. We had some technical issues. So, as we count down to this Saturday's grand reunion, the dawn of a new day, we are not just looking back, we are mapping out our future. Tonight, we go straight to the top, challenging the status quo and asking the hard questions that matter most to our people. From the reality of the ground, the courage of our defense volunteers, that's the Amazonian State Army, to the critical path towards unity and international recognition. We will definitely be covering it all. We will tackle questions on the strategy for diplomatic breakthroughs, transparency in our financial future and present, and the efforts being made to demand justice by our government for those still in detention or confinement. Most importantly, we expect the interview with the president will help paint a picture, a clear vision for the stability and prosperity in projection of a fully independent Southern Cameroon. The revolution has greatly evolved. Stakes have never been higher. We hope that at the end of the day, you will get a thing or two in this long overdue conversation. If you are watching us via social media, share, comment, and subscribe to our channels. We'll begin with a statement from the president right after the break. Don't go away.
The weight of our years is heavy, yet the spirit of our people remains unbowed.
Indeed, Mr. Vice President, every scar we carry is a testament to a resilience that no mile can stretch thin.
Our fallen heroes paved this path with their very lives. We stand today on the hallowed ground of their sacrifice.
Their names are whispered in every breeze through the grasslands. We remember them always.
And soon we shall gather. The grand reunion on August 8th, 2026 will be our dawn of a new wave.
The fire of faith burns bright. Ambazonia will be free, for our destiny is written in our unwavering hope.
The southern Cameroons is crying.
Genocide, genocide, genocide.
Ambazonia's bleeding and dying.
Genocide, genocide, genocide.
Hey, Eloi, 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 Lama.
Genocide, genocide, genocide.
Eloi, Eloi, Lama.
Genocide, genocide, genocide.
Eloi, 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 Lama. Sabachthani. The southern Cameroons is mourning.
Genocide, genocide, genocide.
From slavery to colonization.
Genocide, genocide, genocide.
Eloi, 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 lama.
Genocide, genocide, genocide.
Eloi, Eloi, lama.
Genocide, genocide, genocide.
Eloi, 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 lama. Sabachthani. How long will the world keep silent?
Genocide, genocide, genocide.
Never again another Rwanda.
Genocide, genocide, genocide.
Eloi, 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 lama.
Genocide,
Genocide, genocide. Eloi, Eloi, lama.
genocide, genocide.
Eloi, 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 lama. Sabachthani. The southern Cameroons abandoned,
Genocide, genocide, genocide.
while the evil rule righteous.
Genocide,
Genocide, genocide. Eloi, 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 lama.
genocide, genocide, genocide.
Eloi, Eloi, lama.
Genocide, genocide, genocide.
Eloi, 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 lama. Sabachthani.
Good day, people of Southern Cameroon, our friends around the world, members of the diplomatic community, and the international press. I begin by extending my deepest condolences to the families who have lost loved ones in the recent floods and landslides in Victoria. We mourn with every family that has lost a parent, a child, a relative, or a friend. We also pray for the injured and for those who have lost their homes and livelihoods. This tragedy is not simply the result of nature. It is also a failure of governance. Victoria has experienced repeated devastating floods and landslides over the past 25 years, with major disasters recorded in 2001, 2007, 2013, 2014, 2018, and now in 2026. Yet little has been done to address the underlying causes through proper urban planning, drainage infrastructure, hillside stabilization, and disaster preparedness. Studies have repeatedly warned that these disasters are recurrent and that meaningful mitigation measures are urgently needed. Yet, for years, nothing has been done. The people are left to wait for the next disaster to happen. Today, we call upon all responsible authorities and humanitarian organizations to mobilize immediate assistance for the affected families and to ensure that this tragedy is not forgotten once the floodwaters recede. I also wish to speak directly to those involved in organized criminality under the cover of this conflict. To every kidnapper, every extortioner, armed criminal, CPDM vigilante, or member of the colonial military operating in civilian clothing and terrorizing our people, cease and desist immediately. You are a disgrace to humanity. The people of Southern Cameroon are not your enemy. True liberation fighters defend their people and fight for a cause. They do not abduct, extort, torture, or kill those they claim to love and represent. Those responsible for such crimes should know that accountability will eventually come sooner or later. And whoever you are, know that at the appropriate instance, the government of the Southern Cameroon and Amazonia will not hesitate to testify against all perpetrators, their origins notwithstanding. And regarding the political future of our country, our position remains clear. We remain prepared to engage in genuine negotiations with any legitimate sovereign authority that may emerge in Yaoundé, should circumstances permit such a process. We are equally prepared to discuss and establish mutually agreed modalities for negotiation. As was done during the historic 1961 Fumban Conference, the government of the Southern Cameroon and Amazonia will provide leadership while working in collaboration with individuals and nationalist organizations that uphold the unconditional independence of the Southern Cameroons. We remain open to pre-talks, however, with all interested stakeholders, while recognizing that different political actors may advocate different constitutional features. However, not everyone who wants to shall be sitting on our side on the table. To our prisoners, refugees, displaced persons, and every innocent person suffering injustice, let me say this: the truth ultimately prevails. Throughout history, innocent people have been imprisoned in Cameroon and in the diaspora, some of them falsely accused or wrongly condemned by judges that looked at their actions with quite a different lens. Some refused to acknowledge or even consider the context of alleged acts or pronouncements. When context was removed, Nelson Mandela, should be remembered, entered prison branded a terrorist. But when context was acknowledged, he emerged to become the president of the Democratic South Africa. Some injustices are corrected during a lifetime, Others await the judgment of history. Yet truth has a remarkable way of enduring. Finally, on diplomacy, I'm pleased to report that we are accelerating our international engagements with key stakeholders. We continue to pursue international relationships while working towards broader international recognition of our national cause. We believe new and reliable diplomatic relationships are emerging, and we shall continue to engage international actors with seriousness, professionalism, and unwavering commitment to a peaceful and just comfort the bereaved, protect our people, guide our nation, and bless all who sincerely labor for justice, for peace, and freedom. Thank you, and God bless the Southern Cameroon Sambazoni.
Welcome back, Mr. President. Thank you for such a great address. I would say the address to the nation has been long overdue. Ambazonians have been looking forward to this. It's past mid-year. We're talking about the month of August. So much has happened this year. We have a lot of questions for you. We prepared, we did a broad scale consultation with our correspondents from the ground, with activists, and with the newsroom. I think we'll begin with the newsroom, and Onye will start with the first question.
All right, Mr. President, you're welcome. It's been a long while, and it's nice to see you. And as the president, I'm very sure that what matters most to you is questions from the people at the home front. So this particular one is very, is a very interesting one because of the issues that has been happening lately. And so, Mr. President, with the regime in Yaoundé facing what we can call a profound power vacuum and, internal instability, we are constantly hearing reports of continued sufferings across the southern Cameroons over the time. The question is, how are you and the government, your government, effectively communicating with and providing for the people on the ground, especially those who are caught in this crossfire? And what is your assessment of their immediate worries as, the political situation in the capital remains so much uncertain?
Well, thank you, Ms. Opara, and thank you, Paddy. Thank you, the news team, for having me. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for the wonderful work you're doing and the sacrifices you're making to keep the television running. Well, there are two countries involved here. There is the Southern Cameroons, and then there is the French Republic of Cameroon. And I'm sure the question you are asking is what is happening in their political arena, in their political, with their political leadership that has been absent for a while. We are not directly affected by what happens in Yaoundé, but we may be indirectly affected by it, because our expectation is that we should have a living body in Yaoundé that we can negotiate with and end the suffering on our people and find a negotiated solution to this conflict. That's the only thing that interests us with what's happening in Yaoundé. And the more the vacancy persists, the more more difficult it is for even our international partners to find an interlocutor that can or enforce the call to the table for us to find a negotiated solution. As for the chaos in Yaoundé, it is part of their nature. When an unconstitutional political system that has kept a dictator in power for more than 40 years exists and is supported by those same people, they get what they deserve. This is not uncommon or a surprise. This is what is the logical conclusion of every dictator that held so much power and has refused to create or allow institutions to function, and for alternation of power to be institutionally designed. That all depends. He wanted all to be in his hands and on his shoulder. Now that he is collapsing and he's completely out of the scene, there must be vacancy, and vacancy means chaos. So this was to be expected. My only appeal to my people is that it gets worse before it gets better. With a system like this, considering the type of enemy we are dealing with, I want to say that now we are nearer to this resolution of our conflict through a negotiated settlement than we were when we started all in 2016. So it is painful, and this chaos might go on for a while. I don't know for how long. Then my call to the people is to be vigilant, to exercise more of your resilience at this time, because in this game of attrition, it's through endurance and perseverance that will prevail. And I want to say that now we are standing tall and the other side is collapsing. That means there is hope. The world has a choice now, either to identify with chaos or identify with a system that is consistent and that is organized and that is ready to govern its own people. So I feel it when my people cry, when they feel pain, when this confusion spills over and people are affected. Then I want to say that we're in a better place now than when we started, as far as the realization of our goals, our cause is concerned.
All right. Thank you so much, President.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. President. It's a pleasure to have you on the show for this special broadcast tonight. And thank you once again for that very warm, empathetic message to our people from the home front. Now, Mr. President, regarding the Amazonian State Army and those currently holding the front lines at home. Now, as the struggle potentially transitions from armed resistance to a more complex political phase, what is your direct message to them, the Amazonian State Army, and how do you ensure their sacrifices are aligned with the overarching strategic goals of the movement?
First off, I want to thank the Amazonian State Armed Forces who started as community volunteers, who started as vanguards, community vanguards, to defend themselves primarily, defend their family, and defend their communities. Many of them, for the good majority of them, have done a good job doing that and focus. They have also been bad eggs. There have also been infiltrations. There have also been the vigilantes set up by the enemy side, the occupier, to change the perception on the field and to give us a bad name. But I want to congratulate in all 13 counties the vast majority of these vanguard, these ASAs, who have not departed from the goal of defending themselves, standing their ground, and reclaiming our sovereignty. I say congratulations. My only advice at this stage is that as we draw closer and closer to the end of this conflict, you should know that the day of reckoning will come. Those of you who have worked well, who have done the right things, I'm not the one promising this. This is how all conflicts end. When after every conflict, there is a time of accountability. They want to know the actors and what they did and they did not do. And my prayer for all of us is that after this is done, we'll not just have freedom, but we will enjoy the freedom. So I call on every member of the Amazonian State Armed Forces, every patriotic defender of our national territory, to do so with dignity, to do so with loyalty to country, loving the people we are fighting for, loving the communities we are defending, not becoming a pain to the community, and making sure that those enablers of violence, we rather target them instead of targeting in any way the people we purport to defend. So that is honorable, and even if you die doing so, you are a hero, not because you call yourself so, but because the people know that you are a hero. Even God recognizes you as a hero of the land. So you are the heroes of our story. My encouragement to those of us who are still here holding the trenches is that we are nearer the end than the beginning, than when we started. Don't give yourself to any bribe, because in this confusion, as the enemy side start collapsing, they'll start looking for shortcuts instead of the inevitable. They'll want to avoid it, and they will want to come to you. They want to bribe you. They want to manipulate you. They want to do all manner of things they can do to short circuit the resolution, the actual resolution of this conflict, which they know is now going to be in their favor. So you are the owner of everything. Everything that the public can give you is what they stole from you. If they give you 20, 30, 50, 100 million, they stole it from you. So how can a thief steal from me and give me a part of what he stole and call it bribe? That's no bribe. No one can bribe you out of your inheritance. Southern Cameroon is your inheritance. And the thieves in Yaoundé cannot take whatsoever and give you and call that bribery enough for you to abandon your destiny again in their hands. So I just want to salute you and now give this word of caution, and then I warn that the records are being kept and the records will be opened soon. I want all of us to walk to victory and to victory and freedom, not victory and probably captivity or punishment. So that is what one thing. I want to also say that, listen, as we draw closer to the end of this struggle, there will be many people who come here because as you are on the ground, you are listening to people who talk to you on the phone. Some of us, you may never have met us in person. You have only heard our voices on the phone. Or maybe somebody you knew before the struggle started. But you should understand that we are all different. We are all different. There are some people who are not what they say who are not who you think they are. I'm telling you that this struggle, if there's anything this government will do for you, a relative might not be able to do for you. And let me tell you, for the ASA, we are going to represent you. We are going to represent you. When the hour of a negotiated settlement comes, my phone will ring. My phone will ring. Yours may not ring, but my phone will ring. When it comes to going into that place where the signatures will be signed and this matter shall be resolved ultimately, there will be many signatures, but prominently my signature will be there. So I want to tell the ASA that if we have achieved anything for you, because they will tell you, what has it done? What has Sako done? What has the government done for you? If we have achieved anything, maybe some people will talk and out of ignorance, they will think they made sense and they made no sense at all. If we did anything for you is that we provided, we reconstituted the authority of Southern Cameroon so that in this conflict of two parties, there are two parties indeed. Because the absence of the Southern Cameroon's authority in this equation is only one authority, which is the authority of Yaoundé, the colonial authority. If you take away one party out of a negotiated settlement, it becomes an internal settlement. It becomes an internal affair of that one authority. So we have constituted ourselves, despite all the winds, all the waves, all the beatings, left and right, we have kept this together because Foncha must still be alive before they will require Ahijo to come to the table. Yes. The Southern Cameroon's authority must be there before we can define it as a conflict of two parties. Otherwise, you will hear them say, with whom should we negotiate since we are the only authorities? Then it behoves the authorities of Yaoundé to decide on how to resolve an internal affair within their country. But because of the quasi-recognition of this structure and this government we have in place, the international community keeps talking of a resolution of the conflict. Let the two sides, they always talk of two sides, the two parties, negotiated settlement. One party does not negotiate with himself. He puts his house in order. He does not negotiate. When they talk of negotiation, it means two parties or more are involved. And those two parties must be equal before you talk of negotiation. But if they are unequal, you tell the one who is the bigger person, you say, go and see what you can do with that guy. So what we have done, we have provided an unavoidable resolution of this conflict in a manner that will please everybody who has shed blood and who is fighting for the freedom of the Southern Cameroons. Because you are not fighting for an internal fix in Yaoundé. You are not fighting for some federalism. You are not fighting for something of a special status or whatever they call it, that you are not fighting for something that the Parliament of Yaoundé will grant to you. No, you're fighting for your independence. And if that would be by a negotiated settlement, I can tell you that we may not have silver and gold to give you. We may not have all the money that the Republic of Cameroon has stolen away from you, from us, to sign it to you guys. The one thing we can do, if I'm still here, is that will represent you, and nobody, no flesh and blood, can bribe us out of the way of a free and independent and democratic Southern Cameroon. That you can take to the bank.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. But before we talk about, negotiations and all of that, there is something you stood out for a very long time. And if I can remember correctly, throughout 2025, you were deliberate on the word unity. You talked so much about unity. You pleaded for unity. You wanted love to exist. And I'm very sure that I can actually say at this point that you are someone that believes in a unified internal body first before the external engagements and all of that. And so far, you have emphasized the necessity of internal unity before any engagement with La République du Cameroon. Now, given the history of fragmented voices within the Ambazonia Liberation Movement, what specific mechanisms are you putting in place to consolidate these divergent groups into, let's say, a single cohesive front that will be capable of negotiating with one voice? The emphasis here is one voice. Mr. President, let's hear from you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for that question. I want to help everybody to understand how this will end by taking us back to 1961. In 1961, there was what it was called the Delegation of Southern Cameroons. And that met with the delegation of French Cameroon in Fumba, a negotiation of the future of these two countries. That delegation was constituted by the Premier of Southern Cameroon, was Dr. John Gufoncha. Even the opposition leader, the man who did not win in the plebiscite, his side of the plebiscite did not win. He advocated joining Nigeria as the fourth region of Nigeria, but his side did not win. His name was Dr. EML Endele, and he was the first premier who lost the election, and John Gufoncha took over. So he was also in Fumba. And every major political figure, everyone who was competent, who was in a place of representation, was part of that delegation. People who were technically savvy, people like Dr. Folo and some other people who were very, very informed, were all joined the delegation that was constituted by the Premier. I'm saying this to say that is how it will be. Because we don't have to dissolve the government of Foncha and then regroup ourselves in the name of a certain group of people without any authority, just to go and meet the other side. No. In a negotiated settlement, there is the principal, and then the principal is the one who is able to constitute this group together, put the group together, and make sure that they can rehearse their position you know, agree on what they want to meet the other side to discuss. That is how it's going to be. So very soon we are going to reach out, and we are open. The initiative doesn't need to come from me, but we are open. Some people don't even don't even think that they can even approach me for something like that. So I don't mind. I will rather try my best to reach out to anyone whom I think may not be within my own fold, that has the competence, has the charisma, has the character to represent, to be part of this process. It's a process. And nobody is going to be paid because you are part of that process. And nobody is going to gain for being that process. Instead, it's a responsibility that will be on our shoulders for those who will represent the rest of Amazonia to bring back the best agreement so far, what is called a negotiated settlement, to come back with a settlement agreement that reflects the wishes and the desires of the people of Southern Cameroon. Because anyone who people will not be part of that process just because they want to. No, just because they have some name recognition. If everyone who had a name recognition in the Southern Cameroon were to go to Fumba, I don't think even the streets of Fumba would have not contained the people who were in Fumba. There is a representation of a people that can be trusted to go there and negotiate not their own interests, but the interests of the people they represent. So we are already in a process since last year. We created the Amazonia Dialogue and Negotiation Commission, and the chairman is doing a good job. We are trying to reach out to people, and we are trying to go outside our fence to make sure that we reach out to people who can agree to be part of the pre-talks that we need to have before we eventually meet with the other side. So people can say we have discordant voices. That is not a fair characterization. There are only two voices on our side. There are only two voices on our side. Those people who say that La République du Cameroon is okay, let's just stay in there and look for any internal fix that can accommodate some of our concerns, and we continue with the status quo. And they are Southern Cameroon born. So is that a voice? Is that one of the voices? I don't consider them as a representative voice of the Southern Cameroons. I consider them as agents of La République du Cameroon. They are not. So, because that is what Akanganji will say. That's what Gongo will say. That's what Chiroma will say. So they are just the same. Just show me your feathers, I will know which flock you belong to. So that's where they belong. But when we talk of the people of Southern Cameroon's Amazonia, these are people who stand for the independence, for the actualization of the independence that we were already granted. Yes. So these people, these are the people that we can sit together. We can in our pre-talks, as I say, we will not negotiate with ourselves. We can only agree amongst ourselves. We only negotiate with the other side. But for the dialogue, we can dialogue among ourselves, and we prepared to do that. But we're not prepared to dialogue with people who are just speaking the language of Gongo and the language of Diongute or Tanganji, just because they were born in the Southern Cameroons. No, those people are politically choosing their camp. Well, matter of fact, if the Republic of Cameroon is looking for somebody to represent them, maybe we might find some of them sitting on the other side of the aisle against us. So we are two positions. Those who want us to remain in Cameroon, and those who have declared the restoration of our independence. So there are no two voices in Amazon. There are no more than two voices. So those are two voices. The one has already disqualified itself. It cannot be, when we are caucusing amongst ourselves to meet the other side, we don't caucus with people who talk about federalism. And some people will come and tell you that federalism is okay. That we know that, like I heard somebody, one of those intellectuals, who said that it is true that if there is a referendum today, the Southern Cameroon will vote 95% independence. So the only reason why they are standing on federalism is that that is what is feasible, that's what is practical, that is what the other side can grant us. Who told them that? Who told them that? Who has ever offered them that? Who told them that? To the French, who are the actual political leaders of the French Cameroon, because the man in Yaoundé is a governor general. The real president of that country, based on the treaties that were signed in 1958, is the president of Paris, of France. So for them, every president, right up to the one that is today there in France, federalism equal to secession, secession equal to independence. That's how they define it. One president after another has warned them that they should never accept federation. That's why the quasi-federation that existed up to 1972 was quashed unconstitutionally. It was quashed, fraudulently, because they dreaded the fact of having a government to deal with two governments. One that signed the treaties of the continuation of colonization with them in 1958, and another government that did not sign the treaty of continuation of colonization with them. Guess who did not sign? The Southern Cameroon signed no treaties with France for the continuation of colonization. But the French Cameroon signed a treaty for the continuation of colonization in 1958 with Paris. So Paris dreads the fact that he will deal with two governments, and therefore he will not be able to exploit the resources freely as they are doing now. So those people, anytime they give you a solution that says we should still remain in Larpol, that sounds like federalism. Federalism means where? It means what? Your government will be where? In Yaoundé. Special status means what? Your government will be where? In Yaoundé. All that it talks about trying to make some fixes and keep you where? The status quo. The status quo, Southern Cameroonian status quo people, they belong to La Republique. We don't caucus with them. We will not caucus with people who have already agreed with the enemy. We'll caucus with those who take our position. When we get to the other side, we will hear their arguments from the other side, and we'll know what to say, what to do.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for that extensive insight. Now, you've consistently said, and even opening your speech tonight, you spoke about the need for dialogue, and you said the Amazonian government is open for dialogue. And you know the struggle for self-determination often hinges on international legitimacy. Now, considering the comparative case study of other stateless nations such as Somaliland recently, which we heard about Somaliland, and what is now your specific strategy for breaking the current diplomatic silence from Western powers about Amazonia? And are we prepared to challenge the African Union's strict adherence to the possibilities and the principle to finally secure the recognition we seek at this critical time?
No, I think that our freedom will come from above, not from abroad. It will come from above. That is God-given from us, by us, from us, not from abroad. African Union, if Somaliland was waiting for the African Union, I can tell you that today they would have not had the autonomy they enjoy, the sovereignty they enjoy. Remember, they have been governing themselves as a sovereign nation for a long time. But it's only the last 2 years that we can see nations have started recognizing them. Recognition comes after. So the 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 onus is on us. The responsibility is on us to do what we have to do to make our arguments, to stand our ground, and make sure that what the United Nations intended in 1961 is realized, either through an acknowledgement by the powers that be or by our complete our resistance and our refusal to accept anything less. And I think that when you only recognize the people that have shown you the ability to stand by themselves. You cannot recognize the people who are sleeping. You cannot recognize the people who are saying nothing, who are agitating for nothing, who are fighting for nothing, and who are showing nothing, that they are able to do nothing for themselves. So that is the most important thing we must do right now. Um, uh, Freedom is earned before it is recognized. So we are going to do our best. Right now, many of the people who today recognize that we are correct and we have a right to do what we are doing, they were not there in that position 7 years ago. No. Some of them, when we called Ambazonia, they will say, what are you talking about? What is that? But today, that name Ambazonia has been written, has been pronounced, has been debated in Paris, has been debated in the UK, has been debated in the United States, and and even the AU, when we went to Switzerland for a negotiated settlement, they also endorsed the process. I know they are always the last to endorse anything because they don't want to hurt the powers that be internationally. But they also endorse the process, which means that when the time comes, the AU will do the right thing. But I don't see any country that enjoyed the freedom it deserves through recognition by the AU. AU, they are just the echo. They are not the voices. The voices are elsewhere. Their colonial masters have the voices, and they are the echoes. So whatever the colonial masters will agree, or the powers that be internationally will agree, their echoes in Addis Ababa will follow. So that they are not our worries. Sometimes they have been the problem. AU have been the problem because they don't have a call and they cannot even agree. How can you agree when everybody has to take a telephone and call somebody else before they will give you the answer? So we are making our move diplomatically, understanding geopolitics, understanding exactly where the knots are tied and where we need to focus. So we are doing so. That like Somaliland, we are ready to fight for ourselves while we tell our story, while we stand our ground, while we resist the injustice and the lies. We are ready to continue until freedom comes. And if freedom comes, recognition will follow. If recognition would take 5, 10 years, Ambazonia is not even so much. If La Republic leaves our land and the world refuses to recognize us, we don't care. We are ready to live as a separate, independent country and take care of ourselves. I can tell you, we will develop even with that, with or without the recognition of anybody. What is recognition? Those who recognize countries, do they take half of their budget and give them? So recognition will come in any order. But our focus is we won back our country as it were before 1961, before we came to Fumban for a gentleman's agreement and failed.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, President. Thank you so much. But a little away from that, let's talk a little about money, funding. I mean, sustainable funding. You know, a liberation movement of this magnitude, the magnitude the Amazonian movement is in right now, requires very significant, sustainable resources. You know, in an environment where the diaspora is the lifeline. The question is, how is the government in exile, the government you are leading, ensuring that funding for the Amazonian movement, the struggle, is both transparent and at the same time robust? You know, robust enough to support both the humanitarian efforts and the diplomatic pursuits you just talked about right now.
Yes, time it always has its toll on every protracted movement, and sometimes it is fatigue, sometimes it is fractures that happen. So some people who did not understand the difference between the cause and the people in the cause, the actors in the cause. Some of them abandoned the struggle because of a person. It's just like some people abandon their parents because they have disagreement with their neighbors. So you can see how stupid that sounds, right? It doesn't make sense. That is exactly what some people did. They have a disagreement with an individual, and then they abandon the cause. The cause is the whole nation, the destiny of the people of the Southern Cameroons that we're pursuing, which is bigger than all of us. And some people, because of one person or the other, they leave. And some people, while they are leaving, they will say, I'm leaving, but I'm not leaving the cause. I'm not leaving Ambazonia. I'm still Ambazonia. Then wait and see. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. You look at them. Go and ask anyone who made that statement. I will leave. They will not leave Ambazonia. Go and ask anyone that you know. Ask him that in the, or her, that in the past 6 months, what have you been doing to move the pin forward for our freedom? The answer is zero. So one thing we do here in this government, I'm using this opportunity to pass a message to everyone, because I'm just looking at the solution before I even talk about the problem. One thing we do here as a government is not to lord it over anyone. Is to provide an infrastructure for us to mobilize, to encourage each other, to pool resources, to influence what is happening on the ground, to account to ourselves why we do this. But when you don't see that bigger picture and you decide to leave, you leave. And some people who have left, who, as I speak now, can already identify that they have not been doing anything for the struggle. If you go and ask them that, what do you think should happen now to Ambazonia? They will say, no, we must fight till the end. How do you fight till the end? How? How do you fight? What do you mean by fighting? By what means? If everybody did what you are doing now, where will we be in the next 6 months? If everybody abandoned the way you abandoned, can only share on social media, can only make one comment in one WhatsApp group or the other. If everybody just retire to that position where you are right now, what will become of Ambazonia and this struggle entirely? So these people, instead of rising up to do the right thing, to dust themselves up and wake up and start doing the thing that we need to do because we came into this for a cause. I decided to do this for a cause. That's why there's nobody who has been insulted in this more than me. Nobody whose image has been bastardized more than me in this trouble. They still stand because I came to this place for the cause, not for me, not for no individual brought me here. And I know the conversation I had in my closet with myself before I decided to jump in. It was not with man, no flesh and blood. So when you abandon like that and then you sit and secretly wish that they succeed, some people are secretly wishing that we succeed. The who? The boys succeed. By what means? Whatever the government is giving them, let them take. Whatever anyone is giving, whatever they are doing, I just wish that you want to sleep in the night, dream in the night, wake up in the morning and see victory has come. They wish that success will come by some means. No, this is not the time to wish for success, to wish for the runners to win, to wish them well. This is a time to ask yourself, when you started the fight, did you hope to end this way? Was it your desire to end this way, to end by the way? We sang the song, I would never leave my journey halfway. But some people, if you sing that song to the mirror, you ask yourself the question, have you not left the journey halfway? Leaving the journey halfway is not quitting from a WhatsApp forum. What were you doing before? Are you doing it now? I'm saying that we may not have the money because of some ignorance that our people have manifested over the years, because of some mistakes that people have made over the years. Something that have reduced our critical mass, but to a point. So I think also for those who are holding on to this floating device, one thing I tell you is that the revolution is never won by the majority. It is started by the majority. Go elsewhere, you find it. You found a revolution. Read about it. It is never won by the majority, but it is started by the majority. But it is a critical mass at the end that wins it, and it is never the majority. And I believe that we have that critical mass because we have maintained the infrastructure, we have maintained the trust of our people. Don't mind whatever people can say from a distance. Those who know anyone are those who are close to them. Don't claim that you know anybody from the keyhole. So we have maintained that trust factor with our people, the population. They know who we are, what we stand for, and they are giving what they are giving. And our people on the ground, those who are really doing this with their lives on the line, they know. I keep telling them that we did not come into this because we have anything. We came into this because we saw that we can do something while you are doing what you are doing. So I believe that is how it is. When we get to this level of the struggle, I can tell you that our personal donations is not everything. And it is at a point like this where institutional donors begin to come in. And I can tell you that we are working ourselves, we are doing everything we need to do to make sure that we get, having heard our story, having believed our story, having seen the evidence, now being sure that this is the way of justice, this is right and this is wrong. Having known who we have now made friends who by the grace of God can also decide to help us. So we are, as I said in my presentation, we are seeking institutional recognition that can also, before we can even get to state recognition. Institutional recognition is key because institutions that will recognize us and also help us. But I can tell you that with or without help, we are not going to give up. And if we don't give up, there will be an authority in southern Cameroon that the authority of the French Republic of Cameroon has to negotiate with. Even if we have nothing left, we will be here with nothing because La République du Cameroon cannot negotiate with itself. It will only negotiate with an equivalent authority representing the people of southern Cameroon. Otherwise, the nation of Southern Cameroon has disappeared, and we will not allow it to disappear.
A very critical stance you've made right there, Mr. President, and that calls for reflection. Now, while we talk about funding being really very important in the struggle, let's take our attention to what is happening in the home front when it comes to justice and the violation of human rights. Many of our brothers and sisters remain detained without having committed any crimes other than exercising their fundamental right. Now, what specific diplomatic or legal avenues is your administration, Mr. President, currently pursuing to secure justice for these individuals? And how do we ensure their plight is not just sidelined, especially during these potential future negotiations we are in? You've spoken about the progress of your government. What are you currently doing at this time?
Whether it is in the colonial French Republic of Cameroon, or in Nigeria, or elsewhere in the diaspora, everywhere our people have been in trouble with the law, we have intervened. Sometimes we have written letters to Cyprus, to UK, to everywhere we have intervened. we are trying to make them know the truth. We are trying to bring the context into consideration, because without the context, everything is wrong. Until you see it through the right lens, then you will know that this person had the right to do what he did, or this person had the right to flee where he's running away from. So sometimes we have even paid the legal bills for some of our brothers who are in legal trouble. Sometimes we don't have the resources to do so. But my encouragement is that we will stand with you when we are sure of what the truth is. One thing I cannot do is that I cannot deny you because I'm afraid to acknowledge you, unless I don't know you. If I know you, and I know the actions they are trying to take against you, I will not deny it. I will not deny it. Because, and that's what we do. Whether from Yaoundé to America to Europe, we will not deny it. Yeah. So the moment we know exactly that this is right, somebody's not justice is not being done. Somebody's not understanding it. Whatever it takes for that understanding, for that clarification to be done, whatever help that can be afforded within our ability, I can assure you that we are going to do it. And if there's a legal thing, we are going to try. Because I can tell you that justice is difficult to be administered from a distance. That's why witnesses are needed in every case. Because you cannot administer justice, you cannot administer the justice of a matter from a distance. A distance in culture, a distance in history, a distance in understanding, a distance in understanding the context. So a lot of people they don't even know. Some people have even looked at me and they say, Africa unity, unity, Europe divided Africa, and so on. And why do you want to also be part of dividing it? So why don't you just go back? You see, that person is talking out of his own background. He cannot understand. He cannot understand the context. He just feels like these Africans, somebody came to divide you people, and now the person is gone. Why don't you just stay together? Just stay together. That is so simplistic, not understanding the context. We are going to make sure that we make, even if it means appeals in court, we are going to do that. We are going to be part of it. Even in Yaoundé, we're part of it. We help some folks for their appeals in Yaoundé. We are going to be part of it to make sure that maybe justice will work. The one thing we cannot guarantee is that this is not an Ambazonian court, or these are not Ambazonian courts where Ambazonian law is being interpreted. where the Ambazonian context is fully understood. It is going to be foreign people who don't understand what the heck you are talking about, who have to do justice, to adjudicate over that issue concerning two people that they don't even understand what the heck, what is wrong with between them. And so that is how it is. And so so we may not expect justice. What I say is that one day the context, even if you are condemned today, that is probably the making of a hero. Because one day the context shall be understood. One day the context shall be understood. And some people who did not find themselves in such a predicament because of some wrong thing or evil that they committed, are going to be the heroes of our story, because justice will eventually prevail. It can prevail in our lifetime, and I hope it does. It will prevail, or it will prevail the hereafter. And that this same story shall be written. I shall be remembered that you stood when it needed somebody to stand, and the world misunderstood you. But so what? You know how many people died with Mandela in prison? They were in prison with Mandela, but they did not take 27 years. They died in prison. Some were tortured by the white South African government and killed, so they did not last long in prison. When Mandela lived, he was able to see his own justice. But some who died, the justice was still served to them. So in this matter, justice will ultimately prevail. That's what I mean.
All right, Mr. President, thank you so much. Justice must definitely prevail. As you know, this is an international broadcast, and we have journalists from other parts of the world trying to join this conversation. But before we head over to them, Mr. Ta, would you want to ask your question right now?
Yeah, Onya, thank you. You both have done tremendously well. Mr. President, I left the best for the last, but before we take it, we have some of our correspondents on the ground. We also have some questions coming in from the activist folk, but I'd like our correspondents from Bamenda to ask a question before we get to the last stage of this conversation.
Mr. President, I am ABC correspondent on the ground. The question the people of Southern Cameroon and Bazonia have for you through me is on civilian protection. With civilians still caught between French Cameroon forces of occupation and the Ambazonian State Army, and with schools, hospitals, and markets still affected, what is your government's policy to protect civilians and ensure that the struggle does not further deepen their sufferings?
Thank you, Homefront, for that question. There's supposed to be an entente cordiale between the Amazonia State Armed Forces, who are fighting for the restoration of our independence, and the population we seek to defend and protect. That is what's supposed to be. So it is also, as I acknowledged in my presentation, that there are more actors involved in this criminality than mentioned by the question, because we know of the activities of French Cameroon operatives, CPD and vigilantes, and matter of fact, colonial forces that disguise in civilian attires that are doing this because of the breakdown of law and order. The one with in this situation, the one with the gun is the law, and they have been extorting people not just by doing those their kale and extorting people, but they also do targeted operations where they are going after individuals who they think they have money, and we have had reports of people who do so, who say that even the people who took them were speaking in a foreign language. So this is a conglomeration of all these bad elements working in this, operating within this situation where law and order is already breaking down, that have made the situation worse. My advice is that
He mentioned that they're from Bamenda.
we still continue to believe in the forces of the Amazonian forces who have not given you any reason to be in disagreement with them, who have done everything as a people who represent their people, who are fighting for their people. Because let me tell you that it takes a good guy with a gun to stop a bad guy with a gun. We cannot label everybody as bad, because the vast majority of them from 2017 today are doing the right thing. Even some who made mistakes have come back to the population and asked for pardon and have turned around to become good citizens of their communities, and they are doing the right thing. If they need help, they don't extort. They need help because of their time cordial that they have with the population. They can get that help. So my advice to the population is that make sure that you don't jeopardize this whole struggle by turning against the good people of the good elements who are involved in the fight for the actualization of our independence. But yet, don't condone the bad forces. If you find individuals who are consistently oppressing the people and doing the wrong thing and kidnapping and asking for ransom, you may not know who they are. They might even tell you, I'm General Tonda, and that's just a name because they want to get the money from you. It just takes anyone who is dressed in a civilian attire with a gun and call the name of a general and say that's why they are taking this money, or this checkpoint is their checkpoint. If you discover working collaboration with the genuine people that you know around, if you discover that these people are bad elements, it will be good for us to call ABC and make sure that you will have that information about who the person is or where it is coming from, because sometimes our own genuine forces have gone out of the way. Sometimes some of them have even lost their life. I remember sometimes some of them in my 16 lost their life because we sent them to go and tackle the bad guy. And these bad guys happened to be like Republic agents who had kidnapped and taken some people in the bush. And we thought they were just kidnappers, but they were not. They were actually soldiers in civilian attire committing crimes. So my idea is that these are the people that, if show come to show, we can say, this is what is happening here. Can you go and investigate for us and know what is happening there? We'll be able to help. So we will need you to the ABC to have its hotline. I'm sure there is one already that you can receive such information and convey it directly to the authorities. I'm sure the National Self-Defense Council was going to put a line out there for that purpose. So if it is not there, I'm sure after this interview, they will get in touch with ABC for that. So that line, we should call that line so we know. Because sometimes you don't know. The people who are describing it, they're only describing what they saw. They don't know these people. They don't know where they're coming from. But sometimes when we get that information, we're able, through the good people that we have on the ground, to be able to know exactly who is doing that. And that's why I started by saying that should discontinue completely. If it is coming from somebody who calls himself or herself Ambazonia State Armed Force or working for Ambazonia for the actualization of our independence is a no-no. We cannot by any means make the life worse for our people. They are ready to take, they have taken enough suffering. They are suffering with us. And sometimes they have even helped us, supported us in one way or the other, directly or indirectly. We cannot make them the targets. No. while the enemy is operational, trying to turn the struggle against us. If we work in unison, in collaboration with the people and not against the people, I think that they are the ones who help us to know when the bad guys are operating, where they are trying to give us a bad name, so that we can also join with the population and tackle them and make sure that it stops. So that's the only way for now what we can do at this time.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. President. We actually had a lot. Like I said, we did a very broad consultation. Our correspondent from Yaoundé is waiting. But before that, I have a representative of the activist connected with us on phone right now to ask some questions. We'll take the correspondence right after that so that you can just answer all of the questions. And then we take a very short break. Then we come back to conclude with your final statement that is followed by a question that has to do in projection of the things we're going to be doing this week and in the nearby future or the entire month. So caller, please can you read your question to the president, please?
Mr. President, good evening. I am with ABC TV and I am a special correspondent on the ground. Mr. President, I want to ask you something that keeps many families in Ambazonia awake at night. And I want to ask it directly because the people suffering deserve a direct answer. Now, across the 3 zones, men and women, ordinary people, farmers, traders, and even teachers are being abducted from their homes and communities by armed men. Their families receive ransom demands. Some pay everything they have. Some cannot pay. Some of their loved ones come home. Others do not. Many of these armed men are identified, rightly or wrongly, as fighters operating under the Ambazonian cause that you lead. So I ask you man to man, leader to leader, what is your position on these kidnappings? Are these your fighters? Do you authorize this? And if you do not, what are you doing concretely and urgently to stop it? Because right now in the villages in Ambazonia, there are 3 mothers who have sold their land, fathers who have borrowed money they will never repay, and children who are waiting for a parent who may never come back. These are your people, President Sako. What do you say to them? Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so Mr. President, let's just take this other call from the representative of the activist so you can answer all of them. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. President. And the outfit today was really on time. So the activists who are trying to keep the pace with the spirit table in some questions. So these are the questions. There is a very big concern how we are going to do with this illegal drugs trafficking from neighboring French Cameroon into southern Cameroon, which is really killing the youth. And there is so much distractions with families doing all sorts of things with the youth. So which measures do you think we can take in order to reduce that? And my last question is, what are the measures that have been put in place for us to be able to manage misinformation? Because there is a lot of misinformation and a clear picture for people in the southern Cameroon due to so many distractions employed by La Republique. Is causing our people not to have a one direction and one direction in order to pursue this cause. Thank you so much, Mr. President. To address the two questions from the activist. Well, thank you.
Mr. President.
Yes, thank you, activist, for that question. First up, let's go back to the kidnap and ransom. Couple of weeks, if not months ago, we came out vehemently against reported cases because we have confidential reports that come to us based on operatives that we have, handlers on the ground, who are able to tell us exactly what is happening in which county and by who, suspected to be done by who. And we reach out to the people that we know, the good guys that we know, the people who are answerable or who are paying allegiance to us, people we have some kind of leverage over, people we can advise, people who have a code of conduct that we design in collaboration with the Red Cross organization. So they have that code of conduct with them. So we reach out to them to know exactly what is happening if they are involved in this. And just recently, as I said, we published a press release in which we went far to even mention those names, call them out publicly, especially if there are people that we have identified who they are. We are not going to hide it. We are documenting it, but that's a process of documentation. Because we will want, when we have warned you, and you have not done what is right, you have not turned away from that, and we know you, we are going to make sure that we document your crimes, and we even blow a trumpet about it everywhere. That's what we did. If ABC can remember, they can remember that press release was published and was read on this studio. It is very, very unusual for any actor in the struggle to go to that extent, because as at this time, the only thing we can do is to document atrocities and report them to the appropriate authorities and make and file complaints where they are, and call on organizations and that are responsible, who have access some of those places to help us or channel the concerns of the people to the appropriate authorities, international authorities. So we are doing that very well. Press release after press release, contact with the known operatives on the ground to make sure that they are doing the right thing, and giving our code of conduct. We have sent that code of conduct to nearly all the camps in Amazonia to tell them that about international humanitarian law, what they should do and what they should not do. Now, the thing is that even in Nigeria, where there is no civil war going on, you know how much criminality is going on, the bandits, and all the killings that are going on, thousands upon thousands. That is just everywhere where the law and order is broke, there's a breakdown of law and order, criminality will fester. So that is exactly what is happening in Amazonia. That's why it is difficult to say everyone with a gun that looks like a civilian is an Amazonian, because that interpretation there favors the enemy, and the enemy will do everything to continue to put off their uniforms and commit the same atrocities that they are known for committing with uniform, so that one will be on Amazonia. And that one will turn the people of Amazonia against their own people and their own struggle. So, a lot of the actors are there who are lone wolves, who are criminal elements. Remember, crime was there before the war. Crime can only worsen up during the war. It cannot be lessened. during the war. And then the added activities of people who have been armed by La République du Cameroon, so-called vigilante. Some of them are from DDR who went there in the name of surrender, but they were rearmed and sent to the population and given guns by the DOs. You know, some of those, you have seen some of those videos of people who made those confessions. So all these actors are all operating there. The idea is that since they don't come in the name of the colonial forces of La Republic, therefore it's an Ambazonia that's doing it. Therefore, Ambazonia should be weary with their struggle. They should turn against their struggle. They should betray their own people. They should abort their cause because it is now crime, only crime. No, I'm saying that's not the case. When we have a clear report that comes to us, and we can trace who is doing that. If that person is identified with this government, if that person is paying allegiance, because allegiance is not force. We did not buy them, we did not recruit them, we do not own them, but allegiance gives us a leverage, gives us the opportunity to talk to them, to call them out and call them up and to get to render some form of accountability, because we have a standard as a government. So when we have such information, we have not been lied with such information. We are there with that information. It's most of it not public. We are trying to reach out to those people, especially when they are exactly the people that we know. We have dealt with them, we have spoken to them, and when we do not succeed, we also call them out. And that is how we operate. So my assurance is that as we continue to do so, many people will come to the knowledge, because in addition to that, we educate. Because most of it we can do right now. We don't have the disciplinary rod in our hands, but we are educating the people to know that why they came here in the first place, why they are here, why they are fighting. So they should not forget, and why they should not allow even hardship, even drugs, to push them to do the wrong things. They should remember why they decided to fight in the first place. So we are doing a lot of education, a lot of counsel behind, and a lot of reprimand when it is possible. We have done it, and you have read even from our press releases concerning illegal drugs in Amazonia. They have increased. It's part of the war economy, that the informal war economy that is associated with everywhere where there are war. I worked in war areas where we're trying to reach out to the displaced people, internally displaced. And I can tell you that is the case. That is the case not just with the population itself, but with those who are in the trenches. Those people have seen blood all over them, all around, throughout their life. There's a lot of drugs going on. The one good thing I see is that our community is against drugs. Our vanguards are against drugs. And I can tell you that they are the best enforcers of law, especially when you have the good one, wherever they have maintained their presence. They are the number one enforcers of laws in those places. I can tell you that you cannot make it your business to be distributing that drug in some of their places. If they can even stop brasserie and some other things not to be sold in their area, it's not drugs that they will allow to come and kill their people. So we are fighting against that. I can tell you that all these things that first start during this period of war, all these opportunistic viruses that grew because of the war, as this war will come to an end, a lot of psychosocial support and a lot of redress shall be done. A lot of correctional measures shall be taken to ensure that we're drug-free, alcohol-free. We are not as infested as La République du Cameroon, because that's their character, that's what they have, that's what they produce. So we are already through the strain of the rigor of the struggle, we are already learning how to hate alcohol and drugs, such that we have even declared a war against them and their perpetrators or their distributors in our country. So it's only going to be better. For now, I really regret it for any of our children who are caught up by the actions of these minorities within our system who are trying to distribute this very dangerous drug. I know about drugs, even in the United States, how dangerous they are in society.
It has been an amazing evening, Mr. President. I'm sure we have almost exhausted all of our questions. And like I told you, I left the best for the last, which is a conclusive question for you. It has to do with the vision for the future. But before that, let's take a brief break. We'll be right back.
Ma Emma, the weight of our years is heavy, yet the spirit of our people remains unbowed.
Indeed, Mr. Vice President. Every scar we carry is a testament to a resilience that no mile can stretch thin.
Our fallen heroes paved this path with their very lives. We stand today on the hallowed ground of their sacrifice.
Their names are whispered in every breeze through the grasslands. We remember them always.
And soon we shall gather. The grand reunion on August 8th, 2026 will be our dawn of a new wave.
The fire of faith burns bright. Ambazonia will be free, for our destiny is written in our unwavering hope.
So, Mr. President, very quickly, as we look toward a post-BIA scenario, I know you've talked a little bit about that, or the potential collapse of the status quo. Critics, naysayers, often ask what an independent Southern Cameroons will actually look like. I believe that's a major concern and a question that you should answer. So my question is, how do you respond to international concerns about stability? What concrete security and economic guarantees your government can offer to demonstrate that an independent Southern Cameroons will be a stabilizing partner in the Gulf of Guinea rather than a new source of conflict? We've heard a couple of people, many different instances, compare or to sabotage our struggle. They would want to compare it with what is happening in South Sudan. So how do you establish this? What are some of the ways you are proving the maturity of Ambazonia? Like I said, that we are a stabilizing partner in the Gulf of Guinea rather than a new source of conflict. Mr. President, you have to answer that in conclusion, sir.
I am very sure that we will have the best of countries in sub-Saharan Africa, because we are coming in with experience. We have one of the most enlightened diaspora that has been, by reason of our history, we have had to develop other people's nations. And some people want to work for Ambazonia for free. The vast majority of professionals that I know want to contribute their all for that Ambazonia. So for us, I can tell you that we are going to provide the security with the partnership the world needs in the Gulf of Guinea. Because the first thing we are going to focus on upon arrival in Buea will be security. And there's no scenario where there are people who disagree with the Amazonian project. Even the federal people are not going to take arms to say that we must join with La Republic. Or La Republic is not going to send, if they withdraw their barbaric forces and we take over control of our territory, there is no unity of any kind in any manner, any shape or form that fights against our project Amazonia. There's no camp. Even the people fighting in Sako are not people that you would turn around to say Sako Republic. We are divided. The people fighting in Bui, they are not people that will come tomorrow and say, no, we are fighting because we want to declare Bui Republic. No. The unity we have on the ground is that everybody is fighting for free Amazonia. Everyone. Cover your eyes, land on any part of the territory of Southern Cameroon. Everybody who is fighting, everyone who calls Amazonia is fighting for a free Amazonia, not for his country to become the next country. So that means that upon arriving Buea, the number one thing we need to do is to ensure security. Security first comes first. Every other thing rides on the back of security. Without security restored, there cannot be development. And for us to ensure there is security, we have to have policies that quickly address restoration or to help policy that will be able to help provide psychosocial services and economic support and reward for the people who have fought for this liberation. Many liberations turn around because when they won the country, they paid more attention to the victory than to the people who brought in the victory. When you do that, when you forget about the people who brought about the victory, then they will get to a place of disillusionment. They will turn around and say, what did we just do? And they start fighting against themselves. I want to tell everyone who is part of this struggle, who is in the trenches, who is paying with his blood, that this victory is essentially you are the first in the celebrant of this victory. Our focus will be one on security. We must make sure that we stabilize the security of the country. We disarm the people. We make sure that we reintegrate them in society. We make sure that they are rewarded. Those who cannot be reintegrated because of wounds, because of psychological wounds and what they have suffered, the trauma and the rest, we are going to make sure that they don't have to work for the rest of their lives. We are going to set up a situation where everyone who has fought for this struggle shall be the number one defender of the nation. They even if they retire, they will be recognized as the liberators of the country. They will have a special category in the army. They will be fully recognized with all recognitions of the state, and they will not need to work for the rest of their lives. They and their surviving children, they will be the focus of our government. Because when we stabilize security, we are going to focus on development, and we are going to attract all our capital that is tied in Western capitals and the countries where we have lived in exile. Some people have millions tied in their retirement accounts, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they have made relationships with people. And there's also capital there, direct foreign investment that will be attracted to come to Amazonia. I want to say that our focus will be on security. If we win the security challenge, we are going to make sure that we resettle our people who are willing to go back home, who are refugees. We are going to not just require them. We are going to oblige them to resettle and make sure that they are well resettled. When people are satisfied, when people can look back and lift up their hands and thank God for their freedom, nobody can come from anywhere to take that freedom away from. We shall make Ambazonian freedom so good to the people who fought for it that if you try to bring any nonsense through anybody, they will take care of you without even the rest of the people or the administration knowing, because they will be the defenders of the freedom. So that's what we're going to do. They will be the defenders of the freedom. The Ambazonian State Armed Forces, those that will be called liberators after the end of this war, whether they carry on with the national army or not, they will be known as liberators and they will be fully compensated. Matter of fact, they will not need to work. They only need to work because they want to make a contribution. We will make sure that they are positioned in a way that they are proud of what they have done, and they will not allow anyone to come from anywhere to manipulate anyone to take arms or to destabilize the peace that we have achieved or the freedom that we have achieved. So that's what, and in any country where security is failing, every other thing is failing. Development is failing. Agriculture is failing. Industry is failing. The economy is failing. They will not allow that. We have learned a lot from the mistakes of others, and we are just waiting to pounce on the job and start putting things in place so that Ambazonia becomes the envy of Africa. We have the character. We'll make sure that corruption is not found in the vocabulary of the Southern Cameroons. We will sponge it out. Because when leadership is not corrupt, the followers will not be corrupt. And when the people have paid so much a price for something, they will not allow one stupid individual to come and capitalize on the commonwealth of the people, siphon it and take it away from them for generations. When somebody steals $20 million, $150 million, $1 billion, he has not just stolen because he's hungry. He has stolen the destiny of thousands of children to about 2-3 generations. In Ambazonia, we will make sure that does not happen. It does not happen. You can't do that. Before the world will be crying, far, human right, we will take you out. You cannot do that. We will make sure that you cannot steal the destiny of thousands of people and still pretend to be a leader in any capacity, no matter your so-called connections. So when we take care of those, we make sure that in terms of corruption index, we are among the best. In terms of security, we stabilize the land, and the people love what they have. The revolution begins from there. Nobody can take it. Even if the world unites against us, they cannot succeed against the united people. I am so proud that Ambazonia will be that light, that lamp on the hill, on the African continent. We must not relent. If we relent, even those who are coming to help us, because they will be coming to help us. If they came and they found nobody, they will go back. If they found us, they will join us.
Ma Emma, the weight of our years is heavy, yet the spirit of our people remains unbowed.
Indeed, Mr. Vice President. Every scar we carry is a testament to a resilience that no mile can stretch thin.
Our fallen heroes paved this path with their very lives. We stand today on the hallowed ground of their sacrifice.
Their names are whispered in every breeze through the grasslands. We remember them always.
And soon we shall gather. The grand reunion on August 8th, 2026 will be our dawn of a new wave.
The fire of faith burns bright. Ambazonia will be free, for our destiny is written in our unwavering hope.
La 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 la.